I let go of the key because I was scared. Okay, so guys, we are back with an update on the Golf, and it is a very, very special day. We have made the almost 4-hour trip all the way up to, I don't even want to say the name because I'm going to butcher it, but all the way up to Scotland to pick up the converted wiring loom for the Golf, which means we're going to be one step closer to finally getting this Golf on the road. So let me show you where we're at and some of the impressive cars that they have got in this place. We are here down at Dubnuts in Scotland. It's literally taken me about 4 hours to drive here. I left so early, and look at all the cars they have here. This is incredible. I think that's an R32, but I'm not sure. But look at these. That colour is amazing. I love that so much. But let's talk about this loom. So basically what we have done is got the loom converted, so we had to take both our looms out, the one for the engine, one for the headlight. I bought a BAM loom off the BAM 225, throttle pedal because we're going to convert it to fly-by-wire rather than the throttle cable that we already have in place. And then I had to do something else, I can't remember what it was. I had to pick up some miscellaneous stuff like a MAF sensor, knock sensors, because the Q-Peng ECU didn't run any of this. So we have made some major upgrades. We are converting back to OEM management, which will be so much better, more stable, easier for mapping, and ultimately the car will feel a lot better like this. It's been a long process and it took me a while to decide this, but it wasn't an easy decision before I found out that the ECU was actually fried, the Q-Peng one. So here we are. I'll show you the loom once we've got it, and we might actually be picking up another goodie or two. So stay tuned. I can't wait to meet the owner, or the guy I've been talking to. I think he's the owner of this place. Can't wait to meet him. Again, a massive shout out to JM Breakers. I'll put a link to his Facebook, or just a snapshot of his Facebook right here. He was so helpful when it comes to getting all the parts to send up here. So he supplied me with both sides of the loom, the ECU, the throttle pedal wiring. He even threw in a couple of miscellaneous sensors, map sensor. I can't remember if I got the MAF sensor off him or not, or if I even have one yet. I can't even remember. But yeah, he was so helpful. He's a really nice guy. He's literally from like the Bolton area, so he was quite close to me, so I could pick it up really quickly. But let's have a look at this loom in 1 minute once I pick it up, and then we can talk about how we're moving forwards. So as you saw in the previous clip, we went to Scotland to pick up something essential for that Golf right there. Ignore that box on it, that's related to work, that's nothing to do with it. But let me get out of the van right in front of me what we picked up. It's dead exciting, and it means we're this much closer to starting the car. It's been so long and I can't wait. We're just waiting on one more thing, and we may have picked up another goodie, but we're gonna release them in another video. But let me show you what I've picked up and give you some more information. So, as you know, we've just been to Dubnuts, and if you don't know what Dubnuts is, they are specialised in old Volkswagens, old conversions, and they have actually done our wiring loom for us. Obviously, I have paid the money for it, and I highly recommend them, but let me show you what good job they have done. Literally just in that box behind that pole. Let's go and have a look right now. Let's go get it out of the box. So as you just saw from me unpackaging, we have got our looms back, and that one on the left right there is what we've paid the money for. Look at the quality of this wrapping right here. So this is full plug and play, straight to our fuse box. He's even wired in an OBD2 reader for me, and all of this is wired ready to go, so we can plug it in and go. That's for the throttle pedal. So obviously a big relay. These go into our fuse box. This is a ground, extra ground. That's a ground. That, not sure. I might have to ask him about that because I don't know what that's for. I think that's for the tacho adapter, I do not know. But here we go, here's the plug that goes into the ECU. And as you can see, it's all done in with really nice wire and loom tape. That is for a 6-pin lambda sensor. That connects to a plug on here. I think it's this one. I don't know. That is for our wiper motor. But anyway, here we go. We've got everything we need to carry on with the build. Here's our oil pressure switches, sensors, whatever, and just a load of miscellaneous stuff. But we are ready to start putting this back in. This is obviously our main engine harness, and we can just make some work. That is for our headlights and stuff, and the other one is the Q-pang, which he only needed, I believe, these right here. So we can make a start of getting this engine loom back in, but first I want to clean up all of this conduit which is covered in oil. So if we come over to the car, you can see not a lot's changed bar me removing this, which is a cabled throttle body, which we are no longer running. We're running fly-by-wire now. So that can just go down there, and as you can see, we just have absolutely no wiring in here whatsoever. So what we need to do now is get the engine loom plugged back into everything, so the coil packs, the injectors, the sensors, so like that's the alternator signal, crank sensor, knock sensors down here, I don't know if you can see that, and we've got a camshaft sensor. That's the crankshaft sensor there, that one, and these are our knocks. And then we got other things like our N75 valve, water temp, and then on here we have our oil pressure sensor switches that we need to hook up as well. This is for an oil gauge, which I do want in the cabin again. So I've just twisted these wires up because when you turn the engine, oil will come out the end of here, but that's why I've just twisted that up, just so no oil can escape. Not that there's any oil in the engine anymore, but it's fine. As you can see, we got that new mount on down there, and then loads of other little things we need to sort out as well. So for example, we're going to have a map sensor which usually sits in an intercooler pipe, but our intercooler pipe doesn't have a space for it, so we're going to need to figure out a way around that, whether we get it welded in like here or up here. I think it's got to be close to the intake, I don't know, but we have a lot of work to do and a lot of wiring to clean. So I'm going to clean that wiring loom off camera because that is just a tedious, boring job, and then I'll put a little time lapse of me plugging everything back in. So this is going to get confusing very quickly. I've got three, I don't want to call them bird's nests because, well, apart from the loom that's been like done, I've got three bird's nests of wiring that I'm trying to sort through. And it's getting rather confusing, so let me show you. So this needs to end up in the cab, and then we come down here, and I've got my crank sensor in. I've got one knock sensor here which goes like down here. I don't know if you can see that. Sort of see it, sort of can't, like right down in there. Another knock sensor, this one, that goes down there. You can see sort of the green tinge of it. See it right there? Not focusing very well. Anyway, that's ambient air temp. That's the map sensor I was talking about. Here's the oil pressure sensor. That's all on this wiring loom here, which is the one that goes into the cab. So basically, what I'm missing now, or what I'm struggling to find places for, is this plug here. I've got a twin plug like that, and then I've got this plug here, which I believe could go to this sensor here, which is fine, but then I've still got this one here, which could also go to that sensor there. They're both going to fit it. And they've both got different colour wiring though, so I'm not entirely sure on that one. You've got this plug here, which is like a 4-pin plug, which looks relatively new. I don't know why, but it looks relatively new. You see that? So we've got lots of plugs that we still need to sort through. Obviously up here I've got the N75 in, I've got my core plugs in. That just needs to be bolted to there. You see? And then I've got this plug here, which again, I don't know what it's for. It's a very random place for it. I've got my crankshaft sensor in. So you can see down there, yeah, right there, crankshaft sensor. So we're making progress, and then this is the other wiring loom. It ends up in the top there, which is fine. I can sort through that. But for the time being, I'm going to keep cracking on forwards, and then I'm going to try and get this loom in, which is the converted loom, all through down there, which is going to be a nightmare, but will be worth it. So I'm going to start cracking on that, and then finally I've got this one. Obviously move that pedal out of the way. This is for your headlights and loads of miscellaneous stuff. I should have taken more photos, but I didn't, so that is my bad. So guys, I have an update on where we're at with the Golf. Basically, wiring is a crap, and it's so awkward to deal with. It's not worth filming any of it, because you don't want to sit here watching me professionally struggle for a couple of hours putting looms into place. But I'll give you an update of where we're at. So we come over to the car now. We've got the engine loom basically in place, which is this one here, goes up there. This one is the loom that goes to the fuse box, and again all of this needs to end up going up into the scuttle panel, and then we'll have one more loom to fit, which is this one. However, I'm not happy about this here, this plastic. So you can see now, like, all of this is in like nice Tessa tape. This is, I wouldn't say that's nice Tessa tape, but it's in tape. And then that's obviously really old school. That's like 30 years old. So it's a bit of a pain, really. What do I do? Do I strip that back, or do I put it in first and then Tessa tape it? I don't know. But I do want to make that look a little bit nicer. But as you can see, we are working our way all the way down here. I don't know if you can see them holes down there. Oh, it won't focus. You see that hole, the one just below where the wiring loom is? That is the size hole that we're trying to get all of this through. So all of this needs to go down that tunnel. I could take the brake servo out, but I'm being lazy and there's not a lot of clearance to get it out anyway. So I'm just sort of struggling through, but with the idea that it's going to be a little bit easier. But we've nearly got the whole wiring loom in, which is mint. Right, while we're working on this Golf, let me take you over here, prop you up, and let's have a chat about a little bit of a to-do list of what we've got left to do with the Golf to get it running. So basically, I'm going to make a list on my phone. If I remember, I will put on screen like a screenshot of the list as and when I'm writing on it. So I can take away, I've still got this list on there, civic to-do list. Obviously we can get rid of all that now. Obviously in real time, which I know you're not seeing this in, but the Civic has just gone, so we don't need it anymore. So Golf to-do list. Number 1, wiring looms. Number 2, install ECU when we get it back. I'm going to put wheels, I'm going to put tyres, brakes, suspension all under one. Actually no, I'm not. Tyres, brakes, suspension. And I'm going to put welding with a question mark, because I've spotted a couple of areas which are a bit, don't know whether that's working or not. So I have done that. Sorry, but I didn't think my mic was on there. So a couple of areas do need welding, I'm sure of it. Engine service, so I've dropped the oil out of it, but it'd be a good idea to get new plugs, all of that crap. Front end rebuild. So there's a lot of question marks in here with radiators, clips, pipes, so on and so forth. Up there to my right, there is a massive pallet worth of stuff from this car. I've got to sort through it and see what we're keeping and what we're not keeping. Exhaust. I'm just going to write full interior, because the interior is in absolute pieces right now. So speedo cable. Need a Mark 3 or Mark 2 1.3 speedo cable. Map sensor. I need to figure out how I'm going to put that on my intercooler. Power steering. So we haven't got power steering on the engine that I got. He didn't have power steering on it, he ran non-power steering, but I've got power steering rack, I've got all the lines, and it's basically well easy to put in, so why not basically. So that is what I've got so far. Let me show you. That's it looks like quite a long list, but realistically, is it? I don't really know. There you go, I'll put it in like a nice little chart graph thing there. So that's our golf to-do list. Wiring looms, ECU, tyres, brakes, suspension, welding, engine service, rebuild the front end, exhaust, interior, speedo cable, map sensor, power steering. I've probably forgot many things, but that is basically what we need to do before we can even get this car on the road. So let's go, basically. Let's get cracking. Obviously, that's just a quick break from me doing the wire and loom because it is dull, it is boring, and it's taking forever. But that's where we're at. So, I've been doing some wiring for absolute ages. I say wiring, let me show you what I've been doing. I've been trying to make things a little bit smarter, and it's just sent me right down a rabbit hole. So, let me show you. See this? So this is what the wiring loom always was in on the Mark II Golf. You see this horrible plastic little thing, and I thought, do you know what, I'll cut it off and I'll wiring loom tape it. So I've done it all the way along there. You can see that I've still got some scrubbing up to do, but here's the tape I've been using. But yeah, that's that. So that is all I'm doing for today because my hands are cramping so bad. But we're starting to get everything together, we're plumbing everything in place. I just had to cut this connector off because, well, I had to because wires are broken. But we're getting everything in place and we are swiftly moving forward. We just need the ECU back and then we can go. Right guys, let's go for a little bit of an update with this car. So, as you can probably tell, time has passed since the last clip. We have been doing a bits and bobs on this car, trying to get you going. It doesn't look like I've done a lot, but let me show you right now what we've been up to. So, as we come to the car, again, it doesn't look like a lot. You can see there's a battery. Basically, tripping over the exhaust. I've put a new line in here and a new ground in. I've got the air filter in, plug the math in, and there's a couple of bits now. I don't know why I have my multimeter out, I think I was testing grounds. There's a couple of bits that I need to sort out, but I don't know the best way for it. So we've got a map sensor here. This usually sits in the intercooler pipe, but as you can see, I do not have a slot for one, so that is an issue. I've just put a new coolant temp sensor in there. I've just started getting the downpipe on, and if you can see, I went out, I'm still waiting for my ECU, but I went out and I bought an immobiliser off ECU because I'm so desperate just to try and crank this. So I put all the wires through into the engine, through the engine bay in to the Golf. So if you look down here in this mess, see the torch out, everything's plugged in. That massively needs tidying up, but I just wanted everything plugged in just so I can, in this video, try and crank it over, because once I've done that, I can then get this vehicle off the ramp and make a start on, you know, getting everything buttoned together. So what I really want to try and do now is I want to get the exhaust on, and then I can, you know, get a start on everything else. There is a load of things I still need to do, but here we are. And a little bit of a surprise, I decided to get some ball bet A's. What do you reckon of those wheels? I think they are awesome. I found a really good deal, and I basically just couldn't say no to them. They are okay. They will probably be in need of a refurb. I have got the centre caps as well, so that's good. But we do, and we are cracking on with this build. We are making progress, even though it doesn't seem like it. We are actually making progress, but I don't know what the point of today's video is, or today's section. It's getting a bit confusing. So as I look from the engine bay, we still need to put our brake booster line in, we still need to plumb the whole intercooler system in, but we had it started, but can we get it started, basically, even just for it ticking over, because I still don't know if this engine's a good engine. So that is where we are currently at. It's been a long time coming, but we're finally getting somewhere. So this video is basically just being a whole lot of talking and not a lot of showing, but it's really hard. I'm just looking at the engine bay there. When you're just putting in wires and routing wiring looms and wrapping wiring looms, that's so boring to do, let alone watch. So hopefully now we can start making some good progress on this. So before I go any further, let's have a look at our list, my torch system on, and let's clarify on what we've still actually got to do, because the list is really hard to stick by. So wiring looms, I'm going to put a yes. Install ECU, I'm going to put a yes/no, because I haven't got the ECU that I'm going to be running back. Tyres, no. Brakes, no. Suspension, no. Engine service, sort of. I put some oil in there, but like not the oil that I want to run, so it's just oil. So I'm going to leave that as a no. I haven't put the front end back together. The exhaust is still not on. The interior is still off. The map sensor still isn't done, and the power steering still isn't done. So I've actually got loads of stuff to do. I've still got the pedal mount. I need to mount the throttle pedal, because now I've obviously gone to a electronic throttle pedal, electronic throttle body. Still need to plumb that pedal in, so that is not sorted yet. Just a bit long, but yeah, we're getting there. We're doing bits, but it's taking a long time. I've got a new lambda sensor as well, because my old lambda sensor looked like this, and my new one is a 6-pin plug. So we are step forward, step back with that. Just need to find some hardware, and then we can start trying to put that exhaust on. So we are actually encountering one of our first issues. Here's our downpipe. You see the angle of that? Pointing straight there, which I don't really know why. It's on correctly at the top there, but it's just pointing out, which is so strange. Pointing down. There's the other half of our downpipe, and if you can see, if I grab this and try to sort of put it up into place, it sits nowhere near where you think it would. I don't really know why. I know the guy before me, he had this engine on a non-power steering rack, but the rack would still be there, so I don't really understand. So I need to have a bit of a think on why this isn't doing what it needs to do. So guys, here you can see I'm just sort of telling you that I'm going to be cutting down here. I'm going to be rotating that pipe probably about 45 degrees, because it's so far out of fitting, and then we're just going to cut straight through to me welding it, because I did the cuts and then I forgot to film all of it. And as we know, I'm not the best welder, but I'm just giving it a go because I need to make it work, and if the welds just blow, I can get another downpipe fabricated. But again, I do just love giving things a go and trying to learn. So you can see there, I've got a massive gap to fill, and it doesn't look great, but we have got to try at a bare minimum, because if we can do it ourselves, it just means I've said, yeah, I've done this, and I can try it again and just continue to get better at it. So enjoy me welding this for the next couple of minutes. So, as you just saw, I've given it another attempt at welding and it's not great, but it's also not bad. So let me show you what I've done. We come over here, I'll flip you around. Here it is, you can probably already see I've had the grinder on it, but that doesn't look too bad if you ask me, don't get me wrong. Is it pretty? Absolutely not. I've just been over a grinder. This back bit here was really hard because the gap was huge, but we have it welded, so hopefully we can get the exhaust on, and then we're going to try and turn the key and see what happens with that ECU that I've bought literally off of Facebook Marketplace. But let's get this back up in here, back up there, see how much better it lines up. It should line up a bit better. I'm no fabricator, so I can't guarantee it's even going to fit. If it doesn't, I'm just going to have to buy one, but let's give it a whirl. I'm so proud of what I've done up there. It doesn't look pretty. I didn't use any special measuring tools. I went, I drew a line with a drill bit, and look at how I've got this downpipe sat under here. It's actually crazy. So we come over, let me flip you around. Look at that. Obviously you saw before, that wasn't going on there. Yeah, look, the welds, they do not look pretty. Not at all, but look at that, that is so cool. I've got that pretty, do you know what I mean? A little bit of flex. That's amazing. Right, let's send this down and let's try to turn the key, and then we can really get on with trying to get this build complete. Right, I'm going to do this live, one take. We're going to turn the key, okay? But I want you to bear in mind one thing. We have things unplugged, we have things not plumbed in. I have no idea what's going to happen here, but I've got to be sure that battery is so dead, it's unbelievable, showing like 2 volts. But I'm just putting there. We jump start. Let's turn this key and see what happens. Oh, primed. Oh, that didn't sound too healthy. Okay, I think we need a new starter motor. But it tried to do something there. Oh my god. Did you hear that? Right, jump out is gone. Oh my god, that spluttered then. That is crazy. This pipe's trying to come off. I can smell fuel. Fucking hell. Let's try this again. I should probably give it some throttle, but I can't do all 3 things at once. I let go of the key because I was scared. Okay, we're a lot further forward than last time. I'm going to see if I can give it some throttle. I've got the throttle here. Let me put you up here. Let's see if I give it some throttle, if we get any further. Oh, I need to jump start it again. Let me jump start it. Right. Let's try giving it a little bit of throttle now. Right, ready? Oh. Oh, it's dead again. God's sake. Ah, now the jump out is gone. But that is so good compared to what we had before, when we had that Q-Peng ECU, we've actually got it spluttering. Take them off there. That is really, really good. Which gives me confidence that if I start building this back up now, we will actually get somewhere. So that was our first turn of the key. Am I happy? Yes. Am I not? No. Yes and no. I wish you just ran, but I understand we got a lot to do still. So that was our first turn of the key on the Golf, and that is amazing. And now I guess we're on the build back up now. Hopefully won't be too long till this old gal is on the road. So over here you can see basically the whole front end of the car. As you would have saw in the last video, we cranked it and it spluttered, but I need to get some things made up, such as this map sensor going into the intercooler, blah 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 blah, lots of little things, niggly little bits. Obviously I've got lambda sensor in now, that's my N75 valve, lots of little things, and I am still waiting on my ECU, which is being mapped for this car. So why not, in the meantime, just try and get a little bit of the front end together, make it look a little bit more like a car, and then we can go from there. First of all, we'll start with this. I'm going to take these broken plastic surrounds off, and then we're going to try and get that into place. So let's go. But in the mix of this, like I said, it's been almost like 6 months since I took all this off. So all I've got really to go by is this big load of bolts, and I don't really know where any of them come from, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm guessing these ones have gone on last because they're painted. I believe these are for this radiator mount, but not entirely sure. So yeah, we have got a fairly big job ahead of us trying to piece all of this together. But look how cool this is looking. Need some coilovers or something, because that gap is a bit too much. But let's try and get this together. So even that looks so cool, I can't lie. I love this car so much. But here is the major problem with taking stuff apart and then not putting it back together for like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, is I have not got a clue where any of this goes. And obviously now we're also squeezing an intercooler between it all. So I think I'm going to have to make some modifications. Like down here, this bit of plastic's obviously going to have to go somewhere. This horn, might need to relocate this horn. But do you know what? There is harder challenges to come by, so we will make it work. There's a little bracket on the bottom of this intercooler. See there? That's giving me a clue for something, but I don't know what yet. I do have some photos of how the previous guy had this set up, so I think I'm going to refer to them quickly and then we'll get back on it. So you can see that I've got the intercooler somewhat mounted. I've literally got one bolt right here holding it in. This other side isn't in. I need to make some sort of bracket. There is a bracket down here, but it doesn't quite line up for anything. That one there is on the bottom of the intercooler. In regards to this, I might have to bin this off and get an electric, like a slimline fan. I just don't think it's going to fit down the back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the radiator mounted, and then I'm going to deal with that afterwards. I have no idea how this was mounted before though. I'm sure it was mounted with these, just like that, but they don't fit in there. and I don't really have anything else for it, so I'm going to take these bolts off. It's filthy. It's a brand new radiator though, and I know what you might be thinking, you will need a bigger radiator. I probably will, but I'm going to try this one anyway, because realistically swapping out a radiator isn't the hardest job in the world. So let's get this off and then let's see where we can mount this without any of this plastic crap on there, and hopefully we don't need to replace it. But I've really got a feeling that we're going to need a new fan, but then I'm going to have to do something with all of this. Oh, this just hasn't been spun in a while. So let's see if we can get this mounted now. Just for reference, this is the gap that we've got. That's my hand between there and there, even less there, and the fan on this specific radiator is going to want to sit here. Oh no, it's going to want to sit here, but I don't know, I really don't know if that's physically enough room. So there's only one way we're going to be able to find out, and that is literally just trying to put it in there. But if we grab this now, it's very light. See, that's upside down anyway, you can tell by these flaps. Yeah, not a single chance. Look at that. We're going to need a slimline fan. So let's take this fan off and then we can go from there. Might just have to put the fan on an electric switch or something, unless I can figure out how to integrate all of this, but that will just pull out of there. 410 mils, and then we can get this radiator off. Get this fan surround off, and then get the radiator somewhat plumbed in. So I'm having to pause a little bit on mounting the radiator. Reason being is because I'm going to need to fabricate brackets. I might even just buy a new radiator, and I need a slimline fan, so there's no point really mounting the radiator in such a position that I can't mount the fan. So for now, let's just get the front end on, let's make this look like a car again, give us a little bit of motivation to get this done quicker. So basically all I've done is just I've tightened these two bolts down, I've put in two bolts, one there and one there, and that is that in securely. Oh, and one bolt down here, you see. I know this is all like cruddy and that, but I will decommission this, paint all of this, and then recommission it again at another point. I'm probably going to get rid of these and put, you know, them like halo lights in, just to give it a little bit of a aggressive look. But that is that for now. Let me get the grill in, and then we can, I don't know, move on to some interior pieces. Oh my god, does that not look freaking awesome? That is incredible. I haven't seen this car like that in like 3 months, 4 months, I think. Anyway, I don't really know, but that looks so goddamn cool. And then wheels, oh, I love them so much. I wish I could just get into this, start it up and drive it, but that is freaking amazing, man. We've got so much for so little to do before we can drive it. And do you know what? I'm not usually a fan of 5-door cars, but that is not bad at all. I really, really like that. So let's talk a minute about this car and the interior, because I want to get the interior back together really, really badly, as you probably well know, but because it's not quite running as of yet, I'm a little bit hesitant. I definitely can't put the carpet in because, well, I can't. I've got loads of wires in, I need to mount that pedal still. The carpet definitely cannot go in, but this, I could tidy all this up, but I don't want to tidy it up and then figure out I've got to rip it all down for some reason. Like, look, I've got a ground cable here, like this. Where's that going? Do you know what I mean? There's so much I've got to do, so I need to figure that out. I need to hoover up all this like sound deadening crap, and then I'm going to lay more sound deadening down, but ultimately this is a mess in here, and I need to sort something out with them sunroof channels. Those two are fine, this one not very fine, so I need to figure out what I'm going to do there. and yeah, part of me just wants to block it up, but I know that's not the right thing to do. So I'm probably going to get a bit of PVC piping and go from there into this. But yeah, that is that. I need to figure that out, not you guys. So I'm going to fiberglass all around here and I'm going to mount that to it, but I need to dig that out first. So here we go. We have actually gone against what I just said and we've tucked everything back up into place. Just because if we need to take it all out again, we need to take it all out again, we can do that, that's fine. Obviously these just need tucking behind the dashboard. This needs to go up there, that's for the tacho adapter. And we've just been looking at where we can mount our pedal, which is all the way back there. We need to make a bracket to put it onto here, but we're making progress. This again, I'm gonna have it somewhere like down here behind this section, which I have at home. And you may hear that noise and wondering what's going on. So the MOT history on this car, the last MOT in 2019 was 111,000 miles. So I want to try and keep to that. And I've just realised what I'm doing is no longer working. I was trying to wind back this, but as you can see, this is spinning, but it's just snapped out the end, so I need to get this to stop. Yeah, so I need to get that to stop now, because these clocks are not the ones from the car, and as you can see, it's on 163,000 miles, which is not the case with this car. I would like to try and line up the mileage, but if I can't, I can't. It's not the be all and end all of it. At the end of the day, if and when I sell this, or when and if I sell it, I should say, the mileage isn't really going to matter. It's got a different engine in it, for God's sake. The shell, you know what I mean, you can look at it, you can see how good or bad it is, and then you can, you know, figure out the rest from there. But here we go, here's where we're at. So now we got that back up in place. That looks a lot better down there. Before that was really starting to stress me out, but I need to sort this door out. This door doesn't open from the outside, only from the inside. So a long way to go, but it's very difficult to film these things. So I basically indicated that when I started to crank that video, it was over, but it's not. We've done a load of bits on here and I've just gone to review the footage and unfortunately lost all of it. So let me give you a rundown of what's actually gone on and what we have done, because we have made a lot of progress and we've done a lot of things. So let me show you right now and then let's try get that cranking again. So here we are at the Golf engine bay and you can see probably a few differences to the last time you saw this. We finally have a new map sensor pipe built in. Let me show you this because this is actually amazing. Look at the welds on that. Alley pipe fits our map sensor perfect. We have our radiator not in but not in place, with a slimline fan and some wiring. I haven't really figured out the wiring yet. I've read online that if you wire into the brown and white, it puts on the low speed. Doesn't seem to put it on anything, even when you turn the key on, and then literally just got it loop round. We have our coolant bottle in place and no coolant in there, so we need to top that up. You can see we have put our red coils back in with some new spark plugs, and I'm so annoyed because I had all of this filmed and literally haven't got any of it. And most importantly, if I take you to the inside of the car, if this door handle is really jittery, there you go. I've left my OBD plugged in. Pedal mounted, isn't that awesome? So I found somebody online that makes the pedal mounts. Can you see back there? It's bolts to where the servo is, and then the pedal bolts to that, and we have a pedal. How awesome is that? So that is what we have come up with so far. We have a few bits that we need. We need a tacho adapter for our rev gauge. We need to order a speedo cable, the lot. But let's see if we can get this started. and then we can go from there on the next video of getting this road ready. Right, who is ready to try and crank this over? So you saw before we had a couple of cranks on. Since we've done some work, we've got our map sensor plugged in. Our MAF isn't really, it's in, but it's not bolted down properly. We changed out, I had a new one of these. One of these is an N75 valve, which goes to your intake, your actuator on the turbo, and then to the, I think it goes to the bath valve, I think, I'm not really sure. And we have our ECU back in. So I'm going to jump in this car, try to, and then we're going to try and give it a crank. Should start. I don't know how well it's going to run, but at a bare minimum it should start. So I can hear the fuel pump. Oh yeah, this starter motor is dodgy as hell, you know. Oh, it doesn't seem too happy. It doesn't seem the happiest, you know. Right, I don't really know what's going on here. Oh, that was really eventful, then uneventful so quickly. I don't know if I have enough fuel, you know. Wow. It started. That's running terribly. That misfire was crazy. I've got a feeling we haven't got enough fuel, you know. So we're fine for a few seconds. That is so cool. So, as you can hear, she's running, which is excellent. I've been logging for this moment for so long, I can't lie. That is brilliant. We just got to button everything up now. Like, I need to put the power steering in. I need to sort the gear cables out because I bought some gear cables, but they are crap, so I need to get some genuine ones. Fan, I need to mount the fan where it's still, but like not causing a problem because it's just on like a crazy angle right now. And I might put the fan on a switch rather than anything else, because the last thing I want is when we're driving this to Germany for it to not kick in for any reason and then we'd be absolutely stranded. So that's so cool. First turn of the key, it took a lot, but it started, which is fucking incredible. I think I definitely need to have a look. I think it might be fuel, you know, just because I haven't filled it up for a while. Last time I put fuel in this, I put 20 quid in. And I've done a lot of cranking since, just pure crank, and you could smell the fuel. But now we need to get an oil change, because I just have some random ass oil in here. Shall we give it a rev? There's no exhaust on it, let's give it a rev. Literally, this is straight out of the downpipe. Downpipe's held in with one bolt. Oh. Oh, that. Oh, got lumpy again, and we're back to normal. Right, so there's obviously a slight running issue here. My interior blowers are working. I don't know why, I've not turned them on. That is incredible. That is so fucking cool, man. So, we've got the Golf somewhat running, which is amazing. Next episode, we'll be buttoning everything up, getting ready to drive this, hopefully for the first time. Need to have a proper sit down, have a look, do I need to order anything else? And then we can potentially drive this on the road and prep it. It still needs a lot, but hopefully within the next month or two, we'll be taking this out to Germany. That'd be so cool. I'm literally just gonna straight up just drive it to another country. I've got faith in what I'm doing, I hope. But I'm so sorry that this episode is taking so long, but loads of little bits. It's quite poorly filmed. I'm really sorry. I've changed my camera equipment now, and I've got myself a tripod, which you're on now, so it'll make it easier for me to be filming stuff that I'm doing on the engine, in the engine bay, in the footwells, everything like that. I was struggling with that a bit before because I didn't have a tripod, so I've invested a bit of money in the equipment. So hopefully going forwards, the qualities of the videos will get better and more inclusive with you lot seeing what I'm doing, and a bit more extensive of me being able to explain what I'm doing, and then, you know, a bit more of enjoyment for everybody. So if you've enjoyed this, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video where we hopefully drive this Golf.